From the very first moment Stranger Things Season 5 hits the screen, the show wastes absolutely no time dropping a revelation so shocking, so game-changing, that it instantly reframes everything we thought we understood about Eleven's powers and the terrifying forces lined up to take her down.
It's like our military friends found your kryptonite.
Because while Vecna might be the face of the threat, the real danger doesn't come clawing out of the Upside Down. This time, it comes wearing a military badge. Doesn't fully understand how it's destroying her from the inside out. As Hawkins sits under military occupation, sirens blaring, trucks patrolling, soldiers policing every inch of the town. What looks like normal chaos masks something far darker: the military's obsession with controlling, reproducing, and ultimately weaponizing powers like Eleven's. These people aren't here to save anyone. They're here to dissect a world they don't understand, and they've already taken the one step that changes the game forever. They built a fully operational base inside the Upside Down, where they've been studying its energy, its rules, and now, apparently, its children. The revelation hits like a punch to the gut. The Army hasn't just been exploring the Upside Down, they've been harvesting something from it. And that something has become the basis of the sonic weapon, mounted on trucks, humming silently through Hawkins, that unleashes a frequency normal people never hear. But for people like Eleven, it's pure agony. The moment those machines activate, she folds like someone just switched off every neuron in her brain. Her body seizes, her vision blurs, her nose bleeds, and she collapses, as if her entire psychic connection is being yanked in different directions at once. It's not just pain, it's disruption, it's interference. It's someone reaching inside her power source and twisting it, and that immediately raises the terrifying question: what kind of force is strong enough to scramble the powers that have taken down Demogorgons, closed gates, lifted vans, and fought Vecna himself? Stranger Things doesn't answer that directly at first, and the show lets Eleven's confusion mirror ours. The soldiers won't speak. The scientists hide behind their clipboards.
If I may interject, officer, I've seen what's coming, and no disrespect meant, but you and your men can't protect.
Even Hopper doesn't know what's going on, and watching Eleven stagger, gasping and disoriented, only fuels the desperation building inside the group. She can fight monsters. She can fight Vecna. But how do you fight a sound you can't even hear? The nightmare only deepens when Eleven finally manages to get her hands on one of the soldiers. She dives into his mind with the same psychic precision we've seen since Season 1. But this time, instead of the usual echoes of memories, she sees something else, something cold, metallic, and horrifying. A door tied directly to the weapon that's been ripping through her senses. A door she recognizes, but can't understand. At first, Eleven assumes exactly what any of us would. The military must have captured Vecna.
The military. They have him.
Who else could generate a psychic signal powerful enough to cripple her? Who else could make her bleed without touching her? Who else would the military be so desperate to control? But the truth comes crashing down in episode 4 like a truck slamming on its brakes. It isn't Vecna behind that door. It's Kali, Experiment 008, her sister, the girl who once taught her the meaning of found family, revenge, and power, the girl with the illusion-casting abilities strong enough to alter perception itself, the girl who vanished after Season 2 without a trace, the girl they once believed was free, except she never was. Stranger Things rips the bandage off in the most brutal way possible. Kali didn't escape Hawkins' lab like they hoped. She was hunted down, captured, and plugged into a network of machines that turn her entire mind into a broadcast signal. And suddenly it all makes sense. The sonic frequency isn't just some military experiment. It's Kali's power, ripped from her, amplified, weaponized, and fed through satellites, designed to scramble the senses of anyone connected to the Upside Down. If Eleven's powers come from the same place the creatures do, if they're deeply tied to that psychic dimension, then a distorted version of Kali's illusions would act like a virus in her system, jamming her senses and overwhelming her focus. Kali's ability to manipulate perception becomes, in the military's hands, a weapon that crushes psychic stability. And if you control the mind of one experiment, you can destabilize them all. Stranger Things makes it horrifyingly clear that the soldiers don't even fully understand what they're doing. They aren't scientists, they're gamblers. They've learned that when they hook Kali up to those machines, something about her mental frequency interacts with the energy of the Upside Down, creating a ripple effect that disables psychic powers. Over time, they've refined it, strengthened it, and ultimately replicated it without even needing her conscious participation. That's why 11 collapses before she even gets close to the machine. They've turned Kali into a living generator of psychic suppression, and worse, Kay herself, the mysterious new commander in charge of the operation, seems to know exactly what she's building. She isn't afraid of Vecna. She isn't afraid of Gates. She isn't afraid of the monsters. She's afraid of them. The children the lab created, the ones who can bend reality, the ones who could challenge her authority and dismantle everything she spent years constructing. 11, in her eyes, isn't a hero. She's an asset, and one she intends to break. This sets up one of the darkest moral dilemmas 11 has ever faced. Because now her kryptonite isn't just a machine. It's the psychic echo of someone she once cared about, someone who understood her trauma, someone who shared her scars. The show forces 11 into a brutal emotional conflict. Every time she tries to fight, every time she pushes her powers, every time she reaches for the well inside her soul, she feels Kali's pain, Kali's interference, Kali's unwilling participation in a system designed to destroy her. If she tries to shut down the weapon, she risks hurting Kali. If she does nothing, she risks losing control of her own powers entirely. The military's cruelty becomes the perfect reflection of Dr. Brenner's, but amplified. Brenner wanted to study these kids. The military wants to own them. And the fact that they built their entire operation inside the Upside Down shows just how reckless they've become. They've already lost soldiers to the environment. They've already triggered energy surges. They've already seen what happens when you treat the Upside Down like a science project. And yet they continue pushing because they believe the ends justify the means. But this is where Stranger Things delivers its most chilling revelation. Now that the military has harvested, studied, and replicated the signal created from Kali's mind, they don't actually need her anymore. They can recreate the effect using artificial amplifiers, which means two devastating things for 11. First, the military can track her, suppress her, and neutralize her anywhere she goes. Second, Kali herself is now expendable. And if 11 doesn't reach her soon, the military has no reason to keep her alive. This twist doesn't just introduce a new weakness, it introduces a countdown. 11 has lost battles before, but she has never been this powerless, this vulnerable, or this emotionally torn. When she collapses under the sonic blast, gasping and shaking, Stranger Things shows us something deeper than physical pain. It shows the terror of a girl who has always fought with her heart, realizing her greatest strength can be stripped away with the flip of a switch. It shows the horror of watching your found family become a weapon against you. It shows the danger of a world that will always fear what it cannot control. And most importantly, it sets up the biggest question of the season. How do you defeat a villain who can shut off your powers before you even lift a finger? 11 can't simply punch this problem. She can't scream her way out of it. She can't rely on brute strength. She needs strategy. She needs clarity. She needs to understand the connection between her mind, the Upside Down, and the psychic resonance Kali has been forced to generate. And as the season continues, that journey becomes the emotional core of her arc, not just reclaiming her powers, but reclaiming the parts of herself the world keeps trying to weaponize. Stranger Things Season 5 turns what looks like a simple sci-fi weakness into something far deeper. A story about identity, trauma, exploitation, and reclaiming autonomy in a world determined to break extraordinary people. And by the time 11 discovers the truth behind her kryptonite, the fact that it comes not from Vecna, but from a girl she once loved and lost, the show delivers its most devastating message yet. The greatest threat to these kids has never been the monsters hiding in the dark. It's the people who claim they're trying to protect us.